All right, so we continue to crisscross the country to various SABC News reporters stationed in different areas. They'll give us an update of the voter registration weekend. Of course, thousands are expected to go out, as I indicated, ahead of the elections. And one of the areas that my colleague Patricia Visagie is at is in Hammanskraal. You would recall, of course, and I'm sure Patricia will touch on this as well, that is also one of the areas that had massive water challenges. Patricia, a very good morning to you. Great to see you once again. Talk to us about the situation there. Has that voting or registration centre opened this morning? And what are people on the ground saying? I know that Hammanskraal had been in the spotlight for several months relating to the water challenges there. Talk us through.
Well, good morning, Criselda, and of course to our viewers. We are in one of the areas in Hammanskraal. This is the Majane community. Now, it's the rural leg of Hammanskraal. You would know this particular township is divided into two. You've got the urban, or rather semi-suburban area township, and then you've got the rural leg. That's where I am. And this is the part where the water challenges are actually more crippling than in the other areas. And Criselda, I must tell you that it's actually been years that the people of Hammanskraal have been battling with the water crisis. We know that even the Human Rights Commission has intervened. Different organizations, have attempted to test the water, and repeatedly it has been declared that the water in this particular area is not fit for human consumption. But it has its ripple effects. It's not just about water. It also impacts the lives of the people in this area. It also impacts the economic opportunities. You understand that life revolves around water. If there is no water or a limited water access in a particular area, it leads to a whole lot of other social aspects that are impacted. We've seen the protests over the years, of course, with both the Tshwane municipality and the Department of Water Affairs seemingly battling over the years to get to the bottom of what is happening at the Rooiwal wastewater treatment plant. That is the catalyst of the ongoing water challenges in Hammanskraal. A couple of months ago, of course, we saw devastation that gripped this particular community when there was the cholera outbreak that claimed many lives, and many people in this particular community are still reeling from that. They still have not recovered from that. Many of them still living in fear, and that obviously impacts their appetite to participate in the country's democratic project. And we ask the question, with all the challenges that they are facing, with in particular the water crisis that's not being resolved 30 years later, are they looking forward to the elections? Are they willing to register? Will they be participating? Now, this particular station here had opened on time. We have not seen much activity. We have not seen many people coming to register. Now, Criselda, you would understand that Tshwane as a collective is actually one of the metros in the country where we have seen a steady decline of people voting. Since 2016, we have seen this active culture of residents boycotting the polls. Hammanskraal, of course, being one of these areas. And I must just mention that Hammanskraal is actually an ANC stronghold. They have the majority of wards in this particular area, but it's also an area where many people feel that they have been failed by the governing party, as their lives have not changed throughout the course of democracy. Now, Mr. Bonginkosi Mutwa, who is a resident here in Hammanskraal, tell us about your views around elections. Will you be registering to vote? Are you looking forward? What are the issues that you as a resident face on a daily that might compel you to register or not register?
I'd like to thank this opportunity and say yes, I'm still willing to defend democracy, and as part of that is that I will participate in registering, and I'll make sure that I encourage others to do the same. Even in this time, in dire times that we are in, we must strive on. in all the struggles that we have faced and we are facing.
What are those struggles?
Yes, I can say, let's start with the crisis, water crisis, because of where I'm staying in here. It's where the cholera outbreak happened. Most of fatalities, majority of them happened here. We saw deaths through cholera, and we are still facing the challenge that we don't have trucks to deliver water. There's no one who's responding adequate to us, to our challenge. But yes, we have a few donors that have came to our area. They've gave us hope. They make boreholes. One is still available. 3 are now being done. They are in a project forms.
The fact that it's been so many years and this issue has not been resolved, the water crisis has not been resolved, despite so many efforts, so much talk, empty promises. As a resident, what do you make of the inability by both the city of Tshwane and the national government to effectively resolve this crisis?
Yeah, I don't know whether these people are good synthesizers of lies. Because when they come, they can talk something else, but in delivering whatever they are saying, it's very, very difficult. And you understand, before the cholera outbreak, there was a commission that said this water is not consumable. Even Premier David Makura was part of that, but a year later, cholera outbreak hits Hammanskraal. Now, it was so devastating because of its cholera. It's related to water, and we know that in Hammanskraal we don't have clean water, we don't have sanitation. Where I am, even where we are registered, and this school is about 90 years old, but the children are now using VIP toilets. It's just a mess.
And we've learned that on days when there is a severe shortage of water, basically meaning the water tankers are unavailable or they're not enough, schooling can't continue. Kids have to go home.
Yes, especially in our township. In our township, you'll see around 9 o'clock children are coming back. But here in rural, because of we are using pit toilets, then children will just have to be organize water to drink. But in the urban schools, no, there's no school at all.
But, one would say for so many years into democracy, it must be disturbing that children still have to use pit toilets.
Yeah, it's worse. Actually, it's disheartening because of you see, even the president, when he came, he just said he's disappointed about the situation in Hammanskraal, that he confessed that they failed us, the government has failed us, and we don't know, because of this area it's more than 100 years, and we don't know what happened.
If the government has failed you, politicians have failed you, obviously you've indicated that you will still participate in the country's elections. What's the word on the ground from your fellow residents? Are they optimistic? Do they still believe in South Africa's democratic project? Will they be participating? And as I have mentioned, we don't see much people entering here. Of course, it's still early. The station will be open until 5 o'clock. Maybe the numbers will pick up later in the day, but still we're not seeing much footprint here. Is that an indication that maybe people are not really interested? What's the word on the ground?
Yeah, the people have lost hope. They've now given up on politicians. The only hope that we think is going to happen, because of since they say there will be adjustment to the electoral system for having an independent president, then it's a new swing for us to say, can we have that one who's not a fully-fledged politician, so that we can adjust and see how is it working, than to be following politicians. They are good liars, they are pathetic liars.
Hammanskraal traditionally is an ANC stronghold. Most of the whites here belong to the ANC. They managed to scoop them with both the previous elections nationally and the municipal elections. They hold the majority in this particular place, area, community. Now, one would ask, with so many years of challenges, why do the people of Hammanskraal still have faith in voting for the ANC?
There are certain factors that might have arrived in the years. Remember when Hammanskraal had the challenges that it was within the borders of Bophuthatswana, then we came back to Northwest, and this part actually went to Gauteng. Now, when that transition happened, it happened during the leadership of the ANC. Then that's when you find out people, they thought because of there's a movement, that transition is taking them somewhere. But immediately we are in the Gauteng, then everything stalls. Everything stops, lies every day, then there's no development, then people start to be awakening and say, no, but something is wrong here. And it's very challenging for us to say, how can it be like this? Even in the next 30 years that we are here, if we thought going to Gauteng is going to be better, but no infrastructure since we've been here.
Is there hope for other political parties to perhaps make inroads? Do you have confidence that maybe they might change things here?
As I said, the trend of politics in South Africa has no that traction to change. But as I said, if the Electoral Commission changes the system to have an independent ward, that will be very interesting for us, because we believe that if we can have an independent council, president, and have a coalition government, then it will give us a hope to say who will be debating. It won't be a political party or a political view that's debating for us. That's my view, that to say if we can have something like that and have a coalition, an independent president, then that's when we know that the parliament now won't be coming with their political views. They'll be knowing that this is an independent South African that need to be facing the challenges of the South Africans.
But for that to happen, people will have to participate in the elections. They must vote. You, as a man who understands the power of voting, what are you doing to convince the residents in Hammanskraal that regardless of their feelings, their living conditions, it is still important for them to participate in a democracy so that they can say, so that they can decide what type of future they want for their community, but for South Africa at large? So what must be done to convince them to come and register?
Yes, for now, young person have lost hope. And in Hammanskraal, it's not a better area to convince them. But the older ones and those who have lost hope, I think as soldiers of hope, we're gonna go and strive on and go back to them door to door and encourage them that let the system change. And the system will only change in the ballot box. And the system and other things will change in the ballot box. There's no way, there's no other way.
All right, thank you so much. Griselda, there you hear it, that of course the power of the people lies in the ballot box. And that is how they can change not just their living conditions, but also the opportunities in their community. In particular in communities such as this, where we know that the triple challenges of unemployment, inequality, and poverty is quite glaring, is rife, and the people have the power to make that change. As I've mentioned earlier, Hammanskraal being a traditionally ANC stronghold, and you've heard it here from a resident who's saying that they feel failed. But regardless, he remains hopeful, and he feels that despite the circumstances, despite the failures by the government of the day, they still want to participate in the country's democratic project. Of course, we'll go to other voting stations to see what is the feel there, what's the climate there, what are the numbers, are more people turning out to register, or is it as quiet as we see here, where practically no one is arriving, or is it maybe perhaps still early in the day, people will be arriving, after 2 o'clock, after 3. Normally that is what we see during voter registration weekend, that people come in the afternoon. Mornings, obviously, they still have a lot of activity that they participate in. Some people go to funerals, they go shopping, and thereafter they return to obviously take to the stations to go and register. So, Griselda will bring you more updates as to what's happening in the other sides of the Hammanskraal area. We'll also try and speak to young people, as they are in majority, who do not want to vote, who do not want to participate. A lot of them saying that the youth is not taken seriously, their issues are not effectively highlighted and addressed by government. Griselda?